Andy, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys how I remove these dip powder nails while also keeping my nails nice and healthy and not brittle. Showing my tips and tricks for cuticle prep and all that. Because you can see these are a little bit crusty. They've been on for about a week, I think. We're going to be doing that today. Since these are short and they only took about like 2 layers of dip powder, you actually can take off most of this with a hand file if you don't have an e-file. I'm going to be showing you guys how to do both of those. So hand file and e-file. So we're just going to take off the gel top coat or dip top coat, whatever you had on there. You really want to position your hand and your file to get around the edges of your cuticle and the sidewalls so that way you're not cutting yourself. Usually whenever I'm doing, because it's easier to do this with my dominant hand, usually whenever I'm filing I have it like this, whenever I'm doing like the surface or going around the cuticle, and then I switch to go to the right side. For this I have to do that opposite. I can't really hold it like that with my left hand, but you get the gist. This is about 5 minutes of filing. As you can see, I hit the full cover tip. So this is about thin enough to soak off. So one thing I forgot to do is take off the excess length. Even though these are pretty short, you still want to do that just so that way you're not dealing with a lot of plastic and excess product. Ooh, that went across the room. So now I'm going to show you guys the e-file and what bit you should probably use. I have multiple bits. These ones aren't like the most high quality. These are just some Amazon ones. So sometimes they do get dull faster. This is a safety bit. I think this is a tornado bit, and these are like cone bits. I don't really recommend using these if you're first starting out because they can easily cut. I think today I'm gonna use this one. I think this has teeth, like whenever you have it on right or left, it works for either of that. And that's the rotation of the drill, so that's pretty cool. And if y'all are curious, this is the drill I use. It's like a little touch screen. It has the power here, reverse, forward motion, max, minimum, and you can actually see this is how loud it is. All the way to 35, which I do not recommend ever going that high, but we're gonna go at about 13 on reverse, since we're working on our other hand. Actually, I'm gonna go on forward, because I usually work a way that works forward. So like that, where you still have some of the dip powder, if you can't get all of it off, and also the full cover tip, as you can see, is coming through, which is plastic, so it is gonna soak off but be kind of gummy. So that's what we're gonna be working with. Okay, so I have all the dip powder off as much as I could get off, and I did nick myself right here with the drill bit, so I mean it's kind of inevitable for me to nick my right hand because I'm not really good yet at moving the drill with my left hand and making sure I don't cut myself, so that's gonna burn with the acetone, but I guess I just have to be more careful. So you can either use these, which are like little chip clips, I like to say, for your nails. Whenever you put the cotton in there, you just clip it on like that. Or you can use foil, whichever one works for you. But I like to use these just because it's a little bit easier and I don't have to waste foil. So I got 5 of those. I'm gonna grab 2 cotton pads. I like to use these more than cotton balls. I feel like these soak up enough acetone other than the cotton balls. So that's 4. Just need 1 more. Probably needed 1, but oh well. So we're just gonna take some 100% acetone. I like to use this one. This one is 100%, so it's gonna be very drying to your nails. So if there's a white cast over your fingers, that is why. Just going to put some acetone in there, about 3 pumps. Stick this thing on there. Take that. I'm gonna do that to all of the nails. We're just gonna let these soak for about 15 minutes or so, because really we're just trying to get the plastic full cover tip off. I really don't recommend filing that off because you're going to definitely go down to your natural nail too much, because it's very hard to file off plastic. I was closing these, by the way. So yeah, we're just gonna wait about 15 minutes or so for these to soak. So I'm gonna go and watch YouTube and wait for this to do its thing. Okay, so I think it's been about 15 minutes now. I'm going to start with one nail at a time. I know a lot of people use like a cuticle pusher to like get most of it off, but I actually just like using a file, like an old, if you can see it's sticky from the plastic, but just like an old file that I don't mind gunking up and just kind of filing off the excess that is actually puffed up from the acetone. Also, if you guys notice a lighting difference, that is because I forgot I had a ring light, and so I put it up, and let me know how you guys like this lighting. I feel like I like it better. Now I will be using an arbor band later, and that can, at least for me, make my natural nails really thin, so I'm keeping that little bit of plastic from the full cover tip still on my nail, not completely going down to my natural nail, which I usually don't anyway, just because my nails are very brittle. And there's also a little bit of builder gel on my nails under this, so it really wouldn't be able to go down to my natural nail if I was soaking. So we're just gonna do that to all of them now. I'm not going to show that because I just feel like that's boring. You guys already get the gist of what you're supposed to do, I hope. So here they are. I know they don't look the best. They usually will not whenever you're first soaking it off, but yeah, I got most of the full cover tip and all of the dip powder off, so that's really all that matters. So now we're gonna move on to cuticle prep. I'm going to kind of clean up some of that excess dust. My favorite bit to use to kind of replace pushing back the cuticles is this bit right here. It's like a smaller version and less scarier version of these. And I'm gonna go on about 12,000 RPMs on the forward mode. And I'm just gonna kind of get rid of all that dead skin that's on my nail plate very softly, not putting a lot of pressure. Also, I wanted to mention that I do have an old video on my channel from how to remove dip powder just from your natural nails and how to do cuticle prep without an e-file. So if you don't have an e-file and if you're really just like putting dip powder on your natural nails and like not having a full cover tip, I'll link that in the description if you guys want to check that out. As you can see, it's like pushed back and there's no dead skin on the nail plate itself. I really like using this one for this. I like to just get really close to the edges, make sure there's no plastic in the full cover tip. Just really clean that up. Okay, so before we move on to the rest of the cuticle prep, I'm going to take the mandrel bit, which is what you put an arbor band on. And I usually use the brown ones because these ones, they get stuck to the mandrel bit and I cannot get them off. So I usually just use a fine, medium bit. I think it's about medium. Oh, how did that one fall out there? And then I'm going to take a file and get rid of the sharp edges. If you are cutting yourself with a arbor band, you don't really know why that's happening. Probably because you haven't taken off the sharp edges. So you want to do that before you work on it. Make sure it is flush. Don't go like this on it. You want to go like that. And we're going to go down to about 9,000 RPMs. Usually, the mandrel bit always seems to vibrate for me on any drill that I have. So I usually have to take it out, put it back in. Now you can use the arbor band the way that I used this bit here, but I usually end up cutting my cuticles because it's a lot wider than this, so this one just works better for me. Kind of getting rid of any lifting if there is any, and making it a smooth transition from the plastic to my natural nail. Okay, going on to the rest of the cuticle prep, I'm going to take this little flame bit I love using this one because it gets really deep into the cuticle area and cleans everything. I'm going to work on 10,000 RPMs, going on the forward motion, working on the left side of my nail. You don't want to go like this and like poke into there. You want to kind of go on the side, work from the middle to the left. And then go reverse and work on the right side of the nail. And you're going to want to push up the dead skin that you see, kind of like the white skin. And again, you don't want to put a lot of pressure. You just kind of want to graze over the natural nail and push up the cuticle. So now we're on to nipping the cuticle. I like to use cuticle nippers. You can use cuticle scissors. And we're just going to get rid of like the dead skin. Since your nails are more than likely dry and like your skin is dry, you can definitely tell what is dead skin and what is not. I don't have a lot of dead cuticle. Just see a little bit. Now, fun fact, I actually don't have any feeling in this part of my finger right here because I broke this arm a few years ago. And so I busted a nerve somehow. Like something happened to where I literally can't really feel anything. So yeah, that's a fun fact about me. Now I'm gonna take a, I don't really know, like metallic ball bit. I have two of these. This one's like a buffer that I love to use. And this one just kind of gets rid of all of the bigger hangnails, basically. And we're gonna work on 10,000 RPMs on reverse mode. If you don't have a good drill when you're doing this step, it can feel really painful because it's vibrating your skin. One cheap drill I had, oh my gosh, I couldn't even do this. Also, I was using those like really cheap bits that come in, like, you know, whenever you get a drill, they have like those metal gray bits, so those aren't the best to use, honestly. These work a lot better. You can see it just kind of gets rid of some of those tinier hangnails that I couldn't reach with the nippers. So now to really just smooth out the skin around the nail, I'm going to take this little ball buffer. I use this a lot on this hand too. As you can see, like there's no hangnails. My cuticles are a tad dry, I need to oil them, but you can see they look pretty clean, nice. So I'm going to go about 9,000 RPMs and just very lightly buff. Okay, and if you guys are wondering how I did this nail without cutting that even more, I just kind of pretend it's not there because I don't want to make it bleed even more. So now we're just going to reshape the nails because right now they look very ragged. Kind of go like under it and around, and then I'll work on the sides of it. Finally, I am going to go ahead and buff the nails, just so that way everything looks nice and smooth and blends into itself. I'm going to go and wash my hands just to get rid of all the dust really quick, and also clean this little wound and put some peroxide on it, so I'll be right back. Finally, since we used a lot of acetone, we're going to want to replenish our nails and our skin with some cuticle oil. I use pure jojoba oil. It works just fine, even though it's not very fancy. Here are the nails after removing all of the dip powder and cuticle prep and all that. They are a little bit red, but that's, I believe, bruises from other times I've overfiled my nails because they really are not painful at all. I think the nails look really good considering other times that I would remove my nails, they would be like super painful, just like barely pressing on them, like they would hurt really bad. The biggest thing to keep that from happening is just make sure that you have a little bit of product still on nails. Whether it's a little bit of base coat, a little bit of clear acrylic, a little bit of you know, like plastic full cover tip, just anything like that to keep your nails just a little bit, you know, protected instead of going down to the natural nail every single time you remove any kind of product. I think dip powder is the only like medium that I would say that like you can go down to the natural nail, because if you just have dip powder on your natural nails, and you soak that off and like you're not filing a lot and just soaking it, then it's going to go down to your natural nail. But acrylic, polygel, full cover tips, all that, you don't really have to go down to your natural nail, and that is how you'll get bruising and your nails will be very painful. Anyways, I hope that this video was helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know this is a bit different than other videos that I've made, but I wanted to kind of make something a bit informational and helpful so that way you guys can look that up on my channel if you guys need help with anything like this. Let me know if there's anything else you guys want me to do like this, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!